Hi, my name's Wilx, and this is episode 10 of Direwolf20. Today we're going to spend most of the time on my new ore processing system over there, but we're also going to show you how I upgraded it to 2 trees on my power system, and I'm now getting 3360 RF per tick instead of 1000 RF per tick, over 3000. I've also put in a chicken chunk loader. Finally, I keep talking about it. Finally got around to it. I moved my water mills into another cube, and we'll cover off a few other odds and ends as well. But let's get on to the main stuff here. So I've upgraded my little ore processing system here. It's I don't know if it's upgraded. It basically does the same thing it did before. It's just in a much neater format, and I had to move it anyways. And it's not as likely to fail now either. It seems to be a little bit better because I'm giving it much more power now, and it's going off all the time, and it's not having any trouble with failing. So that looks pretty good. So I went back to using an RF tools monitor. I've got it set to 99% as the alarm level, so if it's more than 99%, it tells the atomic reconstructor to do its thing. I've used a sensor. I hadn't used that before. I was introduced to them by Knee Club. He played around a lot with different types of setups like this. Never exactly this one, but he did introduce me to the sensor here. So what we do with the sensor is we put a block of stone in it, and it senses when there's a block of stone behind it. And I've got it to an area set of 1. And it works just fine at that. He had trouble at 1. He was having it at 3, but 1 works fine with me. And so each time it sees stone there, it lights this up. See it? It's lighting up. And it puts out the signal there. That's just some redstone in the ground. Then I've got this. It is a logic gate. And I've got it set all of them to off. So it sends a signal when it doesn't receive a signal from any of the above. I'm using it as a NOT gate, basically. So when there is a signal here, it doesn't turn this on. When there isn't a signal here, it turns this on, it starts swinging away and does its thing. And it's just set to redstone on. And notice that I don't have a mob crusher anymore. It's not necessary. I put a silk touch book in here. It doesn't give any experience anymore. Don't need the mob crusher. I've got one of those flat nodes on there pushing into this chest. I tried to have this draw directly out of it. It can't. For some reason, these things won't connect directly to the mechanical miner. So I had to use some other method there. Everything else is pretty much the same. We've got the igneous extruder here, and it's got the augment for the Pyroclastic injection. So I don't need to give it water. And it just keeps making stone. Okay, and it all fits into a nice little 3x3, well, with these 2 things sticking out there. And it doesn't seem to fail even when I'm giving it a fair bit of power. Alright, and so the stuff's being emptied out of this chest. As you can see, it's going through very quickly up here to this drawer controller. Now, these drawers are not for storage. They're more sort of filtering, buffering system. And let's go through the steps. So the first thing, this thing is a material stonework factory. And I've set 2 grinders. So first it makes the cobble automatically. The first grinder makes it into gravel. The second grinder makes it into sand. That's its whole purpose. It's just here to make sand. Now originally I had it feeding in directly through here for the sand. But I found that if this slot got empty, it would try to shove cobble in there and start making slag and start gumming up my system. So I had to come up with a way of filtering it so that it only got sand. And I decided to, rather than trying to go with the filtering system on these things, I decided to just put in a drawer, put sand in it, and it is drawing out of here and putting it up into the drawer, then up from there. All right. Then we've got 4 different types of ore here. Yellorium and uranium. Neither of those have any extra from sieving. I've also got my aluminum and tin, I think it is. It's hard to tell here. Yeah, I think it's aluminum and tin. Both of those just give off iron. And they're being processed down in here. And it's got the Sieve upgrades. But they're being processed with sand. And what we're trying to do is get rich slag. That's its purpose here, is to get me rich slag. So how that works, come around here again, is everything gets outputted to here, to this chest, which then goes into the drawer system outside. And since there's nowhere in the drawers for the rich slag to go, it gets pulled up here and stuck into there. Now originally, I tried to have a tunnel come out there, and it was going to connect directly to the drawers, and everything would have been a lot simpler. However, these things won't connect to one of the tunnels on the compact cubes. I would have had to use ducts or something, and that defeated the purpose, so I just put in an ender chest. This system would have been a little easier. It was. I built it outside originally first, and then decided, no, it might create some lag. I should put it inside one of those cubes, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Alright, so that's creating our rich slag. Come over here, the rich slag is getting fed in there. So when you put rich slag with platinum, you get 4 platinum from each ore. Not 2, not 3. You get 4 platinum. So it's worthwhile that way. We're doubling our platinum. The only other thing, because I have excess rich slag, I decided to do draconium as well. I'm not getting very much draconium, and I might need it later on. I don't need it yet, but later on I might. So that's what's processing that part of it. Now, for this thing to work, it needs the Pyro-Concentrator. And you have to feed it blazing Pyrotheum. Yeah, I can't pronounce it today. So the blazing Pyrotheum is gets fed in the Magnum Crucible, made and shifted over here, and it's got an input there, and an input there. Input there? Why has it got an input there? Yeah. Doesn't need an input there. It's not receiving anything from this. I guess I thought I was having rich slag come over, but no, it's going up there. Alright, next up. This guy. He's taking Cinnabar and nickel. That's the only thing he wants to process, because I don't get very much Cinnabar. And the Cinnabar comes down here. We've used up almost all the nickel, so we have been getting Cinnabar. And that each time it does that, it gets me 1 platinum. And notice there's no augments in this one at all. They don't help. So that's its only purpose there, is for the Cinnabar. So for Cinnabar production, let's come around here. We have redstone and gold have a potential of giving you Cinnabar. Oh, these 2 things are stuck. I know. I added in the copper and the silver because this thing here was overtaxed and this was undertaxed. And then but when I did that, I had to come up with the thing over here. And I forgot to put these in. Yeah. So what happens is all the stuff's coming out of there. The redstone doesn't want to be cooked, so it goes over here, and I'm using this just as a filter. And the redstone goes in there and up into the chest directly. The rest of this stuff goes into this crate here to be fed into the furnace. And I wanted to see if it caught up, but the furnace seems to be getting a little bit further behind. So I'm going to have to do some upgrades to the furnace for it to keep up with everything. Mind you, there was a huge backlog, so it may catch up eventually. We'll see. And so the furnace is pulling directly from there into there, and the output is on the side here. So I had to run the output cable down and around like this to avoid this stuff here. You don't want this connecting with the other cable. You end up with all sorts of problems when you do that. And then, where are we here? Yeah, so that's the furnace taken care of. Then this one is handling all the gemstones, the apatite, and the Certus. And so it just processes them, sends them directly over to the chest. Doesn't go through the furnace. Then over here, we've got our coal, our lapis, our emeralds, and our diamonds. Let's discuss those in a little more detail here. Diamond ore. Use. You. And we come along here, and the best way to deal with diamonds is starlight and fusion. But I haven't got into that mod at all yet. I don't even know if I will. We'll see. The second best way to do it is with a tectonic initiator. But for that, you need the tectonic pyrotheum. For the pyrotheum, you need the pyrotheum dust. For that, I need to use clay. I have no automated way of getting clay yet. I can get it through bees very early on, and or I could have a tree farm or something, or some farm set up with the sludge boiler, is it called? You can get clay from that. I also haven't set up anything yet for obsidian. I could use a lava from the nether with a pump of some sort, or I could set up a lava factory and make it that way, but I haven't done it yet. Then also for this stuff, how do you get that? I could use redstone and again pulverized obsidian. I'm just not that short of diamonds. Not when I'm making them with the coal, like I showed you last episode. So I didn't worry about it that much. The squeezer. Oh, I should have showed the squeezer. Damn it. Diamond ore. Use. Where's the squeezer? Actually, was it way back at the beginning? Yeah, it was. Squeezer. So you get 2 and a small chance at extra. So not much chance at extra. Pulverizer would be almost as good. But I was using this for other things, so I decided to throw the diamonds in there too. Same thing with emeralds. Starlight or tectonic. This thing gives you a slight advantage on emeralds as well. Where it does pretty well is with lapis and coal, especially coal. Let's take a look at coal. Use. You get 6 coal and a small chance of extra. Whereas if you were just to pulverize it or something, you get 3. So we're doubling the amount of coal that we're getting by using this thing. That's the main reason it's here. Lapis is actually pretty good too. Not that I need a lot of lapis. You get 12 from it. Whereas if it was a pulverizer, you get 10. So Pulverizer wouldn't be bad for that, but you get a little more lapis that way. And I'm getting lots of sulfur from other places. But the main one was for the coal, and I just threw these in here because there's a minor advantage on them. Oh, for setting up this mechanical squeezer, it works much like a vanilla furnace. You've got to input from the top and pull out from the bottom. Power's got to go in through the side. It won't work any other way. So that's why it's not set up sort of neatly like all the rest of these. I had to fit it in somehow. So I did it this way. And this one needs the item importers. Notice none of these have these importers or exporters or anything on them, because these things are set to both auto input and auto output. And so they're forcing it through. And when you force it through like this, you don't need importers or exporters for anything. But that pretty much covers everything to do with this one. Let's go out and take a look at some things outside here. Alright, I'm going to move this over. It doesn't need to be there anymore. It's going to go over there somewhere. I still wanted this down at towards the end of the line, but we'll see where the end of the line happens to be now. Let's see, what else did we do? Oh yeah, we upgraded the power. So I added in a second tree. It's a space of 6 dirt between them, and the leaves could have touched, but they didn't. I put in the Resonant kits in all of them, so I used my Enderium to get up there. And I had 4 of these before. Now I've got 6. So I only added 2, but put in the Resonant kits. And put in more fuel catalyzers. The 2 extra fuel catalyzers are one of the main reasons I'm getting so much more power right now. Then over here, I had 4 steam dynamos before. I've got 4 steam dynamos now. But I put in the upgrade kits and then put in 3 auxiliary transmission coils in each of them. So these things now, are any of them? Yeah, this one's doing it. That one's set at 840 right now. I'm not using all the power, so a lot of them are smaller amounts. But for the 4 of them, when I'm using full power, it's 840 RF per tick each, so 3360 RF per tick. Over here, oh, I don't need that anymore. It's caught up. So this thing now is using 180, so not very much to subtract from that figure. All right, that covers this off. Oh, to make all this, one thing I didn't mention last episode, I needed Lumium. When you go to make the kits, you need a Lumium gear. So to make Lumium, is 3 tin, 1 silver, 4 glowstone, get you 4 Lumium. And as we know, we covered last time, 3 lead, 1 platinum, 4 ender pearls, get you Enderium, 3 copper, 1 silver, 10 redstone, get you Sigalium. And the ender pearls, glowstone, and redstone have been going in this thing up here and feeding directly into from the bottom into that drain there. And that's how I do them. I find it easier than trying to make the blend or whatever. Okay, let's go take a look in here. Let's show you what we did down here. Let's actually turn these off for just a sec, because I do have one thing to do for you on camera. Notice this thing's empty. Okay, so I had 4 water mills before. I've now got 12 of them. I'm going to put some speed upgrades in these things. And I moved it down here so I less lag from the flowing water. But this thing's done. So let's break those things. They got sucked up into the... That thing's turned off? Yep. Okay, I hope I brought stuff with me to fix this. Do I have? Yes, I do. And do I have vector plates? Yes, I do. There, it's dark in here again. And now we'll get more spawns that the whole room is dark again. Because we're finished with our pink slime. We'll turn this thing on again. And away they go. And everything's working just fine over here now. All right. So yeah, I'm trying to get all the automated things inside those cubes so that it's like putting it in another dimension, basically. What else did I want to go over with you? Chicken chunk loader. So I set one of those up. I've got it on a radius of 2, so I'm doing 9 chunks. And I moved everything. That's why one of the reasons I got around to moving the watermelons is they were outside of this 3x3 chunk area. And then just to make it easy so that I could recognize where my chunks were, I put a little line of granite around the outside for showing it. These other things outside of it don't matter. They don't need to be chunk loaded. But I'll try to keep everything in these 3 chunks here. All right, I think that pretty much covers everything for this episode. I hope you learned something new. Go out there and have some fun. Thanks.